Nashville, Lynn, and she works with Martin. And she reached out to me and she was like, do you ever play Martin guitars? And I said, yeah, like I started out when I was 12, I like saved up $2,000 just from like busking and playing gigs and asking my grandparents for money at Christmas and stuff. And I saved up a bunch of cash and I went into the music store where my dad used to teach, and they had this Martin HD 28V, which was like Adirondack spruce top. And I was coveting this guitar and I always really wanted a Martin. I started out on a Baby Taylor guitar, and then I kind of graduated up to Blue Ridge guitars, which are really, they sound great too, but I coveted Martins because that's what all my favorite guitar players had. So that was like my first nice guitar that I ever bought as a kid, and I saved up for years to be able to buy it. And then I bought like a vintage Martin when I went to college, and it was a 48, I think, D18. So that was another Martin that I loved. But then I sold that one, and then I sold both of them actually. I sold my first ever Martin to my aunt. She wanted one, and now it's actually in the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix, Arizona. And then the old vintage Martin I toured with it for a while, and it was really hard to tour with. I felt like I was kind of damaging it because of all the travel and the wear and tear, and you go to different climates, and those old guitars don't have an easy way to adjust the action because they don't have truss rods. So eventually it just wasn't practical, and I kind of needed the money, so I sold it. And ever since then I've been playing different guitars, and I've wanted a Martin again. So I told all that to Lynn, and she set me up with the Martin folks, Thomas, who runs the company, and Rory, who kind of helps, make different models of guitars and plan them out. And he's like a guitar genius. So I talked to them about building this guitar, which is a custom. It's Madagascar rosewood on the back and sides. They sent me a bunch of pictures of different wood, and I really liked this cool stripe that this one had down the middle. And it has my MT logo. When I made a record a few years ago, Crooked Tree, the guy who designed it, Nick, he made this cool like MT logo out of branches. So I sent that to them because we were kind of going back and forth about inlay. And then they had the idea to make these branches that get more and more crooked, and that kind of goes with my song, Crooked Tree. And I went with this sunburst, which we were talking about earlier. It's kind of unusual to see on a Martin. It's sort of like a J45 type sunburst. But I just kind of like the dark sunburst. I first got that. I asked for that on a different guitar, this Thompson guitar that I have. And then it sort of became my thing. Now I have like 3 guitars with this really dark sunburst, which I think is pretty. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any other specifications. The neck size, I guess I went with sort of a V-shaped neck and 1 11/16 size, which is what I usually use. But yeah, I got it last summer. I was playing in Pennsylvania near where the Martin factory is. The factory is in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. I remember I went there as a teenager with my dad. I think we were visiting relatives in the Midwest, and we took like a little side trip to go see the Martin factory. And it was so cool. And so they came down to the show that we played in Pennsylvania last summer and brought me my guitar, and I got to play it there at the show for the first time, which was really exciting. But yeah.
Do you have pickups in the
I do, yeah. Right now, this one has an LR Baggs hi-fi pickup. I think it's just the hi-fi. So they have a hi-fi and a hi-fi duet. That one has a mic in it, but I think this is just a straight pickup. And yeah, I've been playing this on stage for when I go to clawhammer guitar, which is kind of a percussive style of guitar playing, and this pickup and guitar combo sounds pretty good for that.
Do you use mic as well on stage for the guitar?
Yeah, so in my other guitar, which I play on like the flat picking stuff, I actually just got a microphone put inside the guitar, and it was kind of a complicated process. So now I have a pickup in that guitar under the saddle and a mic kind of in the sound hole, and then the mic goes through, and I have the pickup jack here, and then on the other guitar there's actually another hole drilled in the side where the mic comes out. So I can run 2 lines out of that guitar, and the pickup's really helpful because it doesn't feed back. You can get it really loud, so no matter where we're playing, if we're playing in like a small club where the audience is really noisy, or if we're in like a big arena, I can still get the guitar at the right volume, and I don't have to worry about feedback or it sounding washy. But then the mic helps for making it sound like a natural sounding guitar. I really pickups to me, like I don't love how they sound, but they're like a necessary thing for the live show. So I like having the option to do either one. And then I just got that put in my other guitar, so I'm still kind of figuring out if I want to put it in this one or like start putting it in all my guitars. It's a little bit of a commitment because you're literally drilling a new hole into the wood of your guitar. So I haven't put it in this one yet, but we'll see. If I end up really liking it in my other guitar, I might. But yeah.
Do you have preferences for woods for the back and sides? I mean, some people love mahogany, some people love rosewood. Do you sit in either camp or?
Yeah, to me, it really just depends on the guitar itself. This is the only one I have with this Madagascar rosewood. I think it sounds really cool, but I didn't really know what to expect because all my other guitars are either mahogany or Indian rosewood. But yeah, I don't know how to describe this like compared to those two. It sounds different to me. I guess it's more kind of in that rosewood category where it's super resonant. The mahogany is a little drier and kind of, I don't know, like the notes are more focused, but the rosewood to me has more overtones, which can be good depending on the situation. So I kind of like having some of each, I guess.
I always think that rosewood's got its own reverb built into it.
Yeah, totally.
There's more going around the note, you know.
Exactly, like that's kind of what I was like trying to describe. It's almost like one sounds like a piano, like rosewood is more piano-like to me because you have all these other reverberant notes around it. I actually just bought a 1943 D18 that's mahogany, and I love it. It's a mahogany guitar, but it sort of has some of that resonance of a rosewood guitar, and I'm debating if I want to take it out on tour. I bought it to be like my studio guitar for when I record my albums or go play on other people's records, because you can't really beat the sound of like an old guitar, especially those older Martins are so amazing. But yeah, I did just put a pickup in it. I didn't drill. A lot of times with the old guitars, you'll have to drill this part bigger if you want to put a pickup in, and I didn't. I got a small jack, but apparently those little ones aren't very sturdy, so I'm like, if I bring it on tour, it's probably just gonna break and I'll have to figure out something else for the pickup. But yeah.